Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Lincoln, Nebraska, and Country Inn and Suites, and we welcome you to the 2012 Great Plains Athletic Conference Football Media Day. Exciting time of year. August is here, and football season is here. We've probably all had the bug a little bit over the last few weeks with all the other media days around the country, and it's time for the GPAC to have their turn here today. And before you are our 10 football coaches in the Great Plains Athletic Conference, and we welcome all of them. We've had a morning of meetings as well as officials' interpretations. I think we've had a productive morning so far. Appreciate all that Deborah Carroll has done here at the Country Inn and Suites. She did a great job with our meal and accommodations, and of course I want to thank Coach Keller for his assistance in getting us in here and this setup here today. So Brian, thanks again for your work on that and hosting us here in Lincoln. Our format in the GPAC is to alternate years. We go Lincoln one year, we go Sioux City the other year, so team GPAC Football Media Day. At this time, if I could have just everyone silence cell phones at this for the sake of everybody else, I'd really appreciate that. And I'd just like to begin with a few opening comments from the league office, and then we will go ahead and get into our coaches here this afternoon. I want to highlight 2011 and 12, last year in the conference. I thought we had a really great year in the GPAC in terms of some on the field and off the field accomplishments. So just kind of going maybe here in a little bit of an order, but our all-sports champion last year was Morningside College. They accumulated the most points over the 19 intercollegiate sports we offer in the GPAC. We had 517 NAIA Scholar athletes last year in the GPAC. Those are juniors and seniors with GPAs over 3.5, and I think that's a tremendous accomplishment. We've been above that 500 mark for quite a few years, and to stay above 500 even though we've lost a couple of teams I think is impressive. So at 517 last year. We had the top teams for scholar teams in the NAIA. Hastings and Concordia both tied for that honor, so that was kind of neat to see that it was a tie and it was among two GPAC schools, so congratulations to them. On the field, the Hastings men's soccer team was the national runner-up last fall. And if you know a little bit about NAIA soccer, that's pretty special. It's a very competitive group, and to be a part of that, they were the national champions 2 years ago and were a runner-up last year. Northwestern women's basketball won the national title in NAIA Division II, marking their third straight national championship, and it also marked the GPAC's 12th out of the last 13 national championships in NAIA Division II basketball. The Doane baseball team had a nice year, won our conference regular season, advanced to Marion, Indiana in the opening round, and played all the way into the championship game there against Point Park before dropping out of that tournament. But a tremendous accomplishment to get one of our baseball teams into the championship round in baseball. I want to send a thank you out to Lincoln, Nebraska. They were really busy last year. They hosted 4 of our championships. We had cross country here in the fall, we had indoor track here in the winter, and then we had outdoor track and baseball in the same week. Alex Linden at Nebraska Wesleyan did a lot of work with that. Ira Zeff, the athletic director at Nebraska Wesleyan, appreciate what Lincoln did last year for us. We had probably one of our more bannered athletes graduate last spring, Danny Ballett from Dakota Wesleyan. Women's golfer, was a 4-time GPAC Player of the Year. We've never had that before, and probably pretty hard to see that happen again in the future. She was a 4-time Player of the Year in all 4 years at Dakota Wesleyan. One is very timely. We are anxiously awaiting B.J. Lawrence from Doane College from St. Kitts, participating in the Olympics on Saturday. He'll be in the 100, the 200, and in a relay for his native country of St. Kitts, so that's coming up on Saturday, I believe, early in the morning in London, and of course be on probably at night here in the States. And another track note, Ronnie Taylor from Hastings made it all the way to the finals of the Olympic trials in the long jump before bowing out in Oregon, which was a pretty big accomplishment for the NAIA there to have our national champion, which he was, get that far along. So those are just a few of the accomplishments from 2011 and 12. Back to football, the reason we're here today, I want to congratulate Matt Franzen. He was named our GPAC Champions of Character Coach of the Year, and I want to just publicly congratulate you, Matt, for that honor. Also honored by the Journal-Star recently, as well as the Coach of the Year here in the area, so congratulations to him. And then we have 3 new faces up here. I'll begin on my far right, second one in, Josh Gearing, the new head football coach at Midland University. Welcome to you, and I think the other 2 are down here. Far left down here, Greg Youngblood, the new head football coach at Dordt College, and then next to him is Ross Simple. He is the new head football coach at Dakota Wesleyan. Ross, no stranger to the league, spent some time at the University of Sioux Falls, and has also been at DWU prior to being named the head coach. And also, Josh is no stranger to the league as well, spending time at Morningside College earlier on in his career. Greg comes to us from Waldorf College, and we welcome him to the Great Plains Athletic Conference. So that is our opening comments in regards to the conference. We're going to go ahead and jump right into our press conference here this afternoon. We will begin with Briarcliff University. The order of the speakers is as they are seated up here.
Doane football last year, we've had a really heck of a year. We had a lot of really high highs and playing the game that we play on the field, and experienced a lot of good things. I think a lot of growth as a team. And then real life came up and bit us back in April. We lost one of our players to a car accident that I think a lot of people know about on April 25th. And that really, real life came up and knocked us back. You're dealing with a lot of young men and playing a game, which is what we do. We work full-time, you play, and then, like I said, real life shows up every now and again. And I think as a team, losing Cody, I think we've handled it well. I think it's brought us together. The type of young man Cody was, I feel comfortable standing up here and telling everybody that we've decided to dedicate our season to his memory. He really exemplified excellence in everything that he did. On the field, no question, and the coaches that are up here know that. Off the field, even more importantly, though, he really did things to the fullest and to the best of his ability. I also want to thank all the coaches up here, and it's kind of humbling for me having not gone through this, and I hope that these coaches that haven't gone through it don't ever. I heard from every coach in the conference, either in person, on the phone, email. Coach Keller sent flowers down right after we lost Cody. Coach Winter sent a letter out to Cody's mom, which just absolutely floored her. And it's a great group of guys here, and again, I'm happy to be part of this group. And didn't realize Coach Vermill was going to stand up here and cry today when he came, but I guess that's what you get. Let's talk a little football. Coming into this season, we've also got our punter back. I guess you count him as a 14th starter. I'll go through some of the returning starters that we have, some guys that we're expecting big things from this year. Again, our punter is back. Phil Tramer was an honorable mention all-conference player. He's going to take over our kicking duties, at least going into fall camp. Andrew Nilsson was the first-team All-American kicker for us last year. I think Phil will step in and do a great job for us there as well. There will be some competition, so there's no guarantee that he'll be kicking or punting by the time the season starts, but we feel, going in. We need to stay healthy. That's one thing we did for the most of last season, which we hadn't done previously in my years at Doane, and it did make an obvious difference. But in the defensive line, we have 3 seniors that we feel really good about: Kason Christensen and Dylan Bartley, and a couple defensive ends that are fantastic players, experienced players. And then Nate Rogge has lined up the last few years for us as nose guard, will be a senior this year there as well. Linebacker, we have a couple starters back in Joe Knott and Jeremy Wallace. We're both all-conference honorable mention guys a year ago. And then possibly the most experienced group that we've got is our defensive secondary. We have 3 come in and make a lot of noise very quickly also. But Vince Martinez, Byron Evans, Kent McCrimmon have all started games for us, and will all be back this year in the secondary. And like I said, you may see some other guys in there as well. Offensively, it's a little more of a mix, I think. We'll have some new faces showing up. We have some guys who have started 4 years that graduated, and that a lot of coaches have seen a whole lot of. And I think our team, our offense anyway, will have a very new look this year. Our quarterback, 4-year starter Anthony Dunn, graduated. Wide receiver Jeremiah Saffold, who started for parts of 4 years, also graduated, but a couple of our big explosive offensive players a year ago. But we do feel good about the group we have returning. In the offensive line, we have 3 starters back: Kevin Rorick, Joe Petrovsky, Dylan Carmichael. And I think those 3, I think we'll have a solid offensive front. Wide receiver, again, we did graduate one who was a pretty good one, but our next 2 are back, and Jesse Bravelli, Tyrone Curry. And we have some good young receivers that'll fight for playing time in that group also. And then at running back, Alex Dozie will be back. He had a nice year last year, 2nd-team all-conference. His backup was Tyler Davis. He'll also be back. He was our 2nd running back. We played a couple more running backs a year ago who will be back. So we've got some pretty good depth at that position. We need to keep Alex healthy, because I think he's a premier running back when we can keep him on the field. We've had some issues with that. And if we coaches were a little smarter, we probably wouldn't handle the ball 50 times in one game, which we did last year, but we'll work on that going into this season. At quarterback, I mentioned Anthony graduates. We'll have some guys going into camp who are going to fight for that spot. We have 2 returners on the team. We'll have a transfer coming in. We have 3 freshmen coming in at quarterback, and fall camp is really going to be an open competition there. So we open up on August 12th with camp, so it's a week from Sunday, and then September 1st is our first game. We open at home this year against Briarcliff University, and we'll be off and running. We're looking forward to another year at Doane, and hopefully continue to grow as a team, pick up where we left off last year, and make some more improvements. Are there any questions?
Coach, what kind of incentive in 2012 is having gone 8-2 last year and still not getting into the playoffs?
Well, I think more than anything, the goals that our players set moving into the season are probably a little bit higher than what they've been in the past. They're usually a little higher than what the coaches would set, which is great. They're optimistic. But in the past, we've never talked much about winning a conference championship realistically or national playoffs. And last year, halfway through the season, we were sitting in a position where all of a sudden those things started to creep into our conversation a little bit. So I think our players are looking more toward, hey, we have a real chance to maybe make some noise here and be a playoff type of a team versus we need to be a team that's competitive in the games that we play within the conference. Obviously, we need to do that, but I think
your guys' team last year?
Consistency. Anthony brought 4 years of starting experience, I guess 3.5 years technically, but when you do that, each year that you start as a freshman, you're making a lot of mistakes and you're really swimming. As a sophomore, you're making a lot of mistakes and you're still swimming. As a junior, those things really start to level out, and then as a senior, nothing that he saw last year surprised him or seemed to rattle him much. So we're going to lose that consistency at the quarterback position. I think the players that we have on our roster are good football players, but you can't substitute for experience. So we're going to have to get somebody in there who's going to have to learn again under fire, which everybody goes through it at some point. It's just been a few years since we've had to do that.
How deep is that quarterback competition, numbers-wise?
I don't know for sure. We'll see how things come in. If one guy walks into camp and just blows the doors off, it'll go 1 deep, and he'll be a all-conference player at the end of the year. If that doesn't happen, you never know what's going to happen. But I think with the players we have coming in, I do think it's going to be a real competition. I'd like one guy to come in, take the bull by the horns, and just win the job and leave no doubt. But like I said, I think the guys coming into camp are going to be pretty evenly matched, at least on the experience factor. So I think it'll be quite a battle.
Having 2 veteran receivers coming back, what's that going to be like for those quarterbacks then having 2 guys that have been out there for a while?
Jesse Verveldi, Tyrone Curry have both played a whole lot in the last 2 years, so they'll be 3-year starters going into this season. Actually, Tyrone played a lot as a freshman also. So knowing you've got those guys out there for a young quarterback can settle you down. I think probably more importantly is the guys up front. When you've got a good offensive line, they can give you a little bit of time, and you're not getting killed every.
You talked in the past how you shaped some of your offensive mound on size. What are the size of these?
Well, the returners that we have, the guys that are on the roster that were with us in the spring, aren't a whole lot different than Anthony in their skill set. So we're not going in this year looking at doing something drastically different. I don't think that's probably going to happen. A couple of our freshmen coming in, I would consider more athlete types, more dual threats that might be able to run the ball a little bit more. We may start a freshman. I've done it before. I'd rather not have to have that happen again, but you never know. But like I said, the guys that we have with our upperclassmen, I think there are a lot of similarities in their skills. People in the room are. Not a surprise, so I'm not telling Anthony anything he didn't know. But like I said, kids with good arms and maybe limited feet that can sit back in the pocket and hopefully do some good things. All right, thank you.
Time to announce the polls for the 2012 season. This year, for the first year, we are doing 2 polls. We're doing the annual coaches poll, which is the official preseason poll of the conference, and then we are doing for the first time a media poll. It's up here. These coaches cannot vote for themselves, and we will begin with that poll. GPAC Coaches Poll 2012, 10th place, preseason, Dordt College, 12 points. 8th, Concordia, 24. 7th, Nebraska Wesleyan, 38. In And then we had a three-way tie for fourth. Dakota Wesleyan, Doane, and Midland, 51.1. Third, preseason, coaches poll, Hastings, 53. Second, with 76 points and 4 first-place votes, Morningside. 78 points, Northwestern. Top down. First, coaches poll, Northwestern, 78 points, 6 first-place votes. Second, Morningside with 76 and 4 first-place votes. Third, Dakota Wesleyan, Doane, and Midland, 51. Seventh, Nebraska Wesleyan with 38. Eighth, Concordia, 24. Ninth, Briar Cliff with. And now our inaugural media poll for the Great Plains Athletic Conference. There were 8 voting parties here today, 8 voting parties. They voted the top 10. They voted for all teams in their poll. 10th, Dort with 9. 9th, Briar Cliff with 15. 8th in the media poll, Concordia, 31. 6th, Nebraska Wesleyan, 45. 5th, Midland, 47. 4th, media poll was Hastings with 49. Third place, Doane with 60. In the media poll in second place, they received. And the number 1 spot in the media poll with 76 points and 5 first place votes is Morningside. Top down on the media. Top down. First, Morningside, 76, 5 first place votes. Second, Northwestern, 60. Fourth, Hastings with 49. Fifth, Midland with 47. Sixth, Nebraska Wesleyan with 45. Seventh, Dakota Wesleyan with 34. Eighth, Concordia, 31. Ninth, Briar Cliff, 15. And 10th, Dort with 9.
You know, with losing Cody, I think one of the things that we're looking at going into next season is how we can really play in his honor, I guess, dedicate the season to him and that because of what happened. But I think use the way that he played the game and the passion that he brought to life to what we do with our football team and just the dedication, the passion that we play with and practice with. I think you probably will see it more maybe behind the scenes, the work that we put in during the week and even during fall camp, because on Saturday playing or any particular season, it should all look the same on Saturday. But during the week, I think there are times where I think our guys will reach back for a little bit more and maybe focus in and work a little bit harder because of what this season means.
Are there any things that fans will be able to see on game day or that's out visible that isn't obvious honoring of Cody?
Yeah, there will be. Each player will have a decal on his helmet for sure. It's not done yet, so I'm not going to say exactly what it is, but it would be very obvious when we take the field. And then there's a memorial right now that we're constructing in the south end of Simon Field that will be dedicated hopefully either the first or second home game of the season, September 1st or September 8th. That will be, like I said, it should be done here hopefully in about a month.